Theresa, Theresa, Czapiewski, Czapiewski.
What have the last 3 days been like?
It's been a emotional roller coaster from the first call I got. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, I've never heard nothing, don't know nothing. But I was going to find out what it was and kept on getting updates from the reporter and called the chief. She didn't tell me, and I was going out there. I was going to make sure I went out there because I knew it was my daughter. I knew it was my daughter's search. They couldn't tell me no. And everybody that knows me, if it has to do with my baby, I'm there. I don't care. You know, I was gone for 3 years, but I kept coming back and forth. Anything that has to do with Teekah, I'm here. I'm back now. This ain't over. This ain't over. I'm going to keep this in the spotlight as long as I can until it's over.
And Theresa, when we were standing out there, you were like, I know what this is about. Is it a mother's intuition? Is it context clues? Was it seeing, investigators, folks that you're familiar with TPD out there on scene? What was it for you?
All of the above, but I knew that when I found out that one of the investigators was out there, I knew it was mine. I knew it was about my daughter. And when they said it was an old case from 90s, I knew for sure it was mine because mine's the only one, and she's still missing.
What did the chief tell you in that call this morning, and just what was your reaction?
I didn't know it was her. I was on the phone with Dateline and interviewing with them, but I got off and said, hey, I need to take this call. I don't know who it was. And she said, Theresa, it's the chief. Of course, my heart dropped. But she said, yes, you already knew we were investigating the grounds, and it was for Teekah, but we did not find nothing. So it was a sign of relief, but we're back at square one again. Where's Teekah?
And kind of explain that sign of relief.
That she was not there. But we still don't have closure to what happened to Teekah. And that's what me and my daughters want, is that closure, because we deserve that. My daughter deserves to be found, regardless if she's coming home or if she's not coming home. We just want answers to what happened to Teekah.
And you were telling me, Theresa, it's a complex amount of emotions, because on one end you want the closure, but then you don't want that discovery.
I don't think any parent wants their child not coming home. They want their child found and them coming home and then hugging them. Will I get that? I doubt it. I don't think I'll get that. I think that my daughter's going to come home and we're going to have a celebration. It's been 26 years, no sign of Teekah. She's grown. She's going on 29 years old, and she would have had that job, and she would have went to school, but it's...
And something, you've been through this process of digging up and having some false hope for leads or informations, right? About 10 years ago, you were telling me there was another similar situation to what we saw in South Gunnison. Talk to us about that.
So on South Tacoma off 9th and Mildred, they did the same thing, but it was a day thing. They searched, they packed up, and they left. They did another thing in Point Defiance. They searched, they packed up and left. This was different.
So, were they digs? Were they similar to what happened this week, or?
They were, but they didn't have the command post.
And there was 2 of them separate?
There were 2. There was Point Defiance, and there was another one at a man's house.
And how long ago were those?
Over 13 years ago.
So in all that time, nothing until this point right here?
This is the biggest thing that has came about, was this on Gunnison.
Is there anything you can tell us about the tip that police were investigating? Any idea what how that house is linked to the investigation?
All I know is that a tip came in about, I'm going to say, I could be wrong, about 2 months ago. But they've been to this house several times, but they just found out, and searched it.
And you talk about, not letting this out of the spotlight. And if somebody knows something kind of thing, what would you tell that person? If they have any sort of idea, what would you tell them?
If you know something about Teekah's case, or seen something, heard something, or know something, come forward. If you were there that night and you seen the guy that walked out with my daughter, come forward. You don't have to go to TPD. Call in a tip. It's anonymous. Call the media. Do whatever. We just want closure. We want to know what happened. Regardless if it's good news or bad news, we just need the closure. And I'm not stopping. Everybody knows in 26 years I've never stopped. I have missed one vigil, but I had it on the internet because I wasn't here. So this is not over. This is not the end. This is just the beginning again. And I'm staying on top of it.
You guys got anything else? Lauren, do you have anything else?
You got you're talking with the chief later this week too, right? You've been encouraged with the TPD response so far, at least, or no?
I'm impressed with the chief. She kept her word to me. And if I don't hear from her this week, I will hear from her next week and see what the next step is to this investigation. I want the picture released of the man that passed away. That is my biggest thing right now, because I think if we get that release, we're going to be flooded with tips, and people are going to come forward and said yes.
And you're talking about the suspect ID'd in this case, right?
Yes.
Anything else you want to say?
I'm just, I asked the public, if you have any information on Teekah's case, come forward. If you were there that night and you seen the man, come forward. We need answers. We need closure.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Grab that from you. And
Sorry, I
let us-
stepped away. Just mall security
Oh, yeah.
didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right.